The last item we want to cover in PWM is just simply how we can access clinical data in that we know lives in PCI. We know that many physicians are still more comfortable using PCI to access clinical data, interpret the data itself, and make the decisions necessary. So we're going to show you two ways that you can actually get to PCI to get to clinical data itself. The very first one is using our routing list in PWM. So in the inside PWM on the desktop, I'll click Inpatient. I'll go ahead and locate a patient on the rounding list here, and let's do Mary Paltrow. I can click on Review down at the very bottom, which takes me to clinical data for Mary Paltrow. And then right where that Review button was just a moment ago, I also have the PCI button here. Click on PCI. I am taken directly to PCI for this particular account for this patient. If the patient does have additional visits, this visit history here would allow me to get into those additional visits itself. So that's accessing PCI for a single account itself. Let's go ahead and go backwards. So simply left arrow or red X, either one. I'll go ahead and left arrow. It takes me immediately back to the clinical review area itself. And from here I can now enter orders or do any documentation that is necessary itself. So this is one way of getting to PCI. This is kind of going through your rounding list itself, clicking on review to get to your clinical data, and then clicking on PCI. Next, I'm going to show you the second way to get to PCI. So going back to our desktop itself, each physician has a special unique menu in the system itself that gives them access to different things within the system. To access the unique menu, it's this icon here with the green asterisk called Session Management. Click the green icon, and there's an option here for what's called a Magic Key menu. When we click on the Magic Key menu, it opens up a small menu that's available for us. This is where we can actually print face sheets as necessary. We can get census lists for IPAs or an ED census. But what you'll all notice is that up here under number 4 itself is PCI. When I click on PCI, I am taken to the old version of PCI itself. This is exactly like it was previously itself. There's no significant changes, so if you want to get to this PCI, you can get to it itself. Unfortunately, any sort of management of your rounding list itself, that is not really handled here within PCI any longer. Starting July 28th, that's all handled within PWM itself. In addition, you can no longer access CPOE from PCI or medication reconciliation from PCI. Those have to be accessed from the new system PWM. So again, this was another way of getting to PCI directly from PWM is the Magic Key menu within Session Management and clicking on number 4.